Apple shares, let's bring in now our own Steve Kovac from CNBC.com, and Ina Fried rejoins us from Axios. Steve, I just want to highlight Apple shares going back towards session lows now, down 0.75%. What would you add at this point?
Yeah, it's to Josh's point. It's the Apple Watch is a little bit disappointing. It sounds like more of the bigger features are coming next year, such as the temperature check, the blood pressure check. We know Tim Cook's vision for this is to really make it kind of like that Star Trek tricorder that can read a lot of your vitals and give you kind of a picture of your health. We are way off from that. And basically, today's model can do pretty much everything as last year's, but you do get that bigger screen and that more durable casing.
Yeah, I think I might be the only person who liked the watch so much I stopped wearing it. I mean, it is very good at what it does, but sometimes we all need a break,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm addicted to mine.
Try out the latest.
Steve's still wearing his. What were you going to say?
I often will try out the latest model, but I'm not a regular everyday Apple Watch wearer. I'm ready for it. I'm still waiting for that feature that makes me not wear it for a little bit and put it down.
It's very helpful, when I was briefly training for a race that lasted about 2 weeks. But regardless, being able to wear it and have the heartbeat monitor right there, have it track all of your workouts, all of that, I can absolutely see the use. I think in this case, Ina, as well, they're talking about it having a fall detection feature. So we know this is we've already seen major health insurers announcing support for it. I mean, that's obviously the path they're taking here.
Yeah, I mean, they've had fall detection for seniors. This is actually fall detection for cyclists. Trying to add one more thing for the exercise crowd. But I do think the point you raise, I definitely think there's an opportunity here for older Americans. Make it a little simpler, I think, would help. The hard part about the watch as a device for older people is it's got that tiny screen and it's hard to input on.
It is hard to use, Steve. Obviously, Siri's detection is, getting better and better all the time. But they're also making more changes, they said here, to try to make text input easier.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. They kind of try to ram a keyboard onto this tiny screen. It doesn't really make sense. Look, the Apple Watch is at its best when it's more passive and doing things in the background as opposed to an iPhone replacement, which, if you remember 6 years ago, everyone was betting this is going to be the next iPhone. Even Apple was kind of pitching it that way. It's not what the product ultimately turned out to be.
And also, I think there's a little bit of a tension between wanting the ability to use it all the time, but not wanting to use it accidentally. It's a great tool for moms. I say this all the time. If you're ever looking for a gift, for a baby shower or something, give her an Apple Watch because you never have a phone, you never have a free hand. It's somewhere in the house. My point being, the little one that you're holding, I've accidentally sent voice recorded text messages to my neighbors. I mean, that's also part of the reason I stopped wearing it, because I don't want to lock it all the time and then have to unlock it. But I don't want people hearing random snippets of our, of our chats either. Steve, I'm curious.
No, you definitely don't want that.
Go ahead. As I sort of share tales from the Chemi family household here, what do you think is most important for investors as this event goes on and gets closer and closer to, they're putting it towards the end, obviously, but when we do start to finally get details about the iPhone 13?
Yeah, it's the iPhone. And if you see me turning my head over, it's because I got it playing in the background here. So I'm making sure it's the iPhone. That's what we're waiting for. And yes, they're going to wait till the end. One thing I'm really curious about is the pricing of the iPhone. As we know, the chip supply story has been hitting every industry. Even Apple warned about it in their last earnings. So are they going to raise the cost or are they going to absorb the price of those components themselves? That's the most thing I'm curious about. It sounds like, based on the rumors, the iPhone is just going to be an iterative update from last year's.
All right, and obviously the shares could be a much bigger mover when we get that. Ina, in the meantime, let's talk about the Fitness Plus subscription and the other subscriptions that they do offer. How they did call this event California Streaming, and how important are all of these streaming services for the company?
Well, they've been great for Apple. I mean, again, Apple, everyone's waited for the car or some really big new thing to drive Apple. And in the meantime, they've incrementally just added these businesses. First Apple Watch, then AirPods, then services. And these are significant businesses. I mean, they would all be, Fortune 100 companies on their own. And the services, I think, do matter. They matter for stickiness. Once you subscribe to a couple of these services, you're even more likely to stay in the hardware ecosystem. So they play off each other and they add a lot of revenue for the company.